the archaeology team discovered a 1,000-year-old tomb, filled with endless gold and silver treasures. Just as they were about to loot it all, a giant python appeared. Before they could escape, they were swallowed whole. But Tony unexpectedly got a second chance. When he opened his eyes, he was back on the day they entered the tomb. He remembered clearly. It was choosing the black door that doomed them all. This time he had to stop the tragedy. Just as he was about to warn his wife, she spoke first, saying she wanted a divorce, claiming her future was bright, and Tony was just a farmer unworthy of her. Then she followed the professor and the team forward. Tony shouted desperately for them not to go in. The professor accidentally triggered a trap, and poisonous mist filled the air. Tony recognized it as the legendary death fog. Breathing it in meant death within 2 minutes. The team panicked, but the professor insisted that opening the black door would not only lead them out, but also bring them fortune. Tony tried to stop them, because in his last life, the professor's reckless orders opened the black door, releasing the python and killing everyone. He shouted that a python was in the tomb. The professor mocked him, saying he had studied the tomb for years and heard no such thing. He even joked Tony had read too many myths. Tony pointed to the skeleton above, saying it belonged to the python, but the professor dismissed it as a large beast's bones. His wife felt humiliated, and scolded him in front of everyone. As the poison crept closer, the team insisted on pushing deeper into the tomb. Tony swore to himself, this time he would open the white door and save them all. From his memory, the tomb had 2 levels. The python lived in the upper level, and the black door wasn't an exit, but a passage between the 2 levels. Opening it would unleash the python. Soon they reached the end of the tomb. Staring at the black door, convinced it hid endless treasure, Tony blocked them again, saying they needed to collect sulfur from the mountain path to fight the python. No one believed him, so Tony went alone, and luckily dug up sulfur just before they opened the door. He tried to smear it on his wife to protect her, but she pushed him away in disgust. She accused him of lying, trying to trap her in the countryside forever. To cut ties completely, she smashed their love bracelet against the wall, and coldly announced she wanted a divorce, then turned and helped push the black door. Tony couldn't watch them walk to their deaths. He stood in front of the door, pointing at snake eggs on the ground as proof. The professor still refused to believe, and even kicked the egg aside, but the furious python was already slithering toward them. The professor spotted a golden ruby beside the egg, convinced even more that treasure lay within, and dismissed the python as nonsense. Just as he finished speaking, the enraged python slammed the door. The tomb shook violently, but the professor calmed the group, saying it was just a small earthquake, and reminded them the poison would engulf the tomb in 10 minutes. They had 2 choices, wait for death or open the black door to glory. Tempted by his words, the group pushed the 1,000-pound black door together. A blinding golden light filled the tomb. They thought it was treasure shining, but the python was already watching the entrance. Everyone rushed inside. Tony saw the poison closing in, and unable to open the white door, was forced to follow them. Inside were piles of gold and treasure. The group was lost in the illusion of sudden wealth, when suddenly, a glob of slime dripped down from above.